Sarawak State Legislative due to be held next month. Increase of weekly flight frequency into Sarawak effective today. And Prince Andrew has been stripped of his military honours. Those are the headlines for tonight. I'm Harizandin and stay tuned for TVS Nightline. The first meeting of the first term of the 19th Sarawak Legislative Assembly Dune will be held next February. It is scheduled to last for 3 days, starting from 14 to 16 February 2022. Through the notice addressed to the state legislative members, Dune Secretary Pele Peter Tingom said it is in accordance with the provisions of the Meeting Rule 6(1). Besides that, in accordance with the Meeting Rule 3, the oath ceremony will be held on February 14. Flight frequency to major destinations in Sarawak has been increased to 562 weekly effective today following the approval of the State Disaster Management Committee SDMC. State Transport Minister Datuk Sri Lee Kim Shin said the approval was given after SDMC took into consideration various factors that include Sarawak having progressed to Phase 4 of the National Recovery Plan, more flight requests due to the Chinese New Year celebration, and a low number of new COVID-19 cases in the state.
Lee added, with the increase, flight frequency from outside Sarawak to Kuching would be increased to 279 weekly, with Miri 127 flights, Cebu 83, Bintulu 59, Limbang 7, and Mulu 7. Adding to that, he said it is up to the airlines to start operating on the new flight frequency. With this increase in flight frequency, SDMC has directed all airlines to resume normal and lower flight fare. Meanwhile, all passengers or visitors entering Sarawak are reminded to follow the standard operating procedures that has been established in line with the state's effort to control the transmission of COVID-19.
About 4,000 households in SARIKEI division would continue to experience water supply disruption due to the delays in works to connect new piping undertaken by the PEN Borneo contractor.
The Rural Water Supply Department JBAL said in a media statement that works to connect the new 500mm HDPE pipe was to be carried out on January 13 and supposed to be completed on the same day. However, as the contractor failed to do so, works have been carried forward to today. As such, JBAL and the contractor have made arrangements to send water rations to affected households. The affected areas which would experience low water pressure are as shown.
Now, the Sarawak government plans to set up an integrated water supply entity as part of the state's aspiration of having world-class utility. State Utilities Minister Datuk Julaihi Narawi said, at the moment, Sarawak has 4 water supply authorities, namely the Sarawak Rural Water Supply Department, Kuching Water Board, Cebu Water Board, and Laku Management Sendirian Berhad. Adding to that, close coordination and collaboration is crucial among agencies to ensure sustainability and to improve the water supply delivery services.
Because we are blessed with plenty of water, but then I do not know whether the value water, because you jump into the river, it's water. When it's raining, it's water available, except when the supply to the respective home not available, they may make noise. But it is important that we need to educate them on the importance of water and how best to manage our resources available to them. Otherwise, they may not value the importance of water.
He said so at a workshop titled Study on the Formation of One Entity for Water Supply and Body Corporate for State Water Supply. Adding further, Julaihi said the state government is considering the possibility of implementing an integrated water supply entity so that there could be a greater operational effectiveness and efficiency as well as financial sustainability. As such, he hoped the study would propose suitable models for the entity and for the State Water Authority (SWA) as a corporate body to proactively supervise and holistically manage water resources and supply in Sarawak. Julaihi further explained that close coordination and collaboration among the agencies to ensure the sustainability of water resources were crucial in order to facilitate the delivery of development projects in the state.
Over the next 2 years, we will also embark on a new chapter to modernize our current utility infrastructure in line with the digital transformation agenda. This will include enhancing the metering system in the utility sector, among others.
Meanwhile, in regards to the placement of the telecommunications portfolio under his ministry, Julaihi will ensure that telecommunication coverage will be extended throughout the state to accelerate the state digital economic agenda, in addition to working to achieve the target of 100% coverage of water and electricity supply for the entire state by 2025.
Now, the Malaysian Meteorological Department, or Met Malaysia, has issued another warning of continuous heavy rain at severe level for 8 areas across Sarawak until tomorrow, January 15. The areas are Kuching, Serian, Semarahan, Sri Aman, Betong, SARIKEI, Sibu and Muka. Under Met Malaysia's warning system, the severe level indicates that continuous heavy rain is expected to occur, with rainfall exceeding 60 mm within 6 hours. Nangka Assemblyman Dr. Anwar Rapai proposed the idea of providing a temporary rented accommodation to flood victims whose homes were severely damaged by the recent flood in Kampong Seduan Jaya. He said the matter will be discussed further with the Sarawak Disaster Management Committee, SDMC.
Anwar stated that the victims are allowed to return to their residence on Saturday if weather improves and that the water level have receded. Anwar, who is also the Assistant Minister of Education, Innovation and Talent Development, said his party will ensure that the condition of the victims' homes are safe before allowing them to return.
But the 2 houses is already a bit of rundown and a bit of damage, and I'm considering them to move to another place to rent about 6 months before I discuss with the disaster committee whether to rebuild or to repair the house before.
However, for safety reasons, Anwar advised the victims to continue seeking shelter at the Temporary Evacuation Center (PPS) until the monsoon season ends. He said so during his visit to the Temporary Evacuation Center in Kampong Jeriah that houses 46 flood victims since it was activated. Last Wednesday, Kampong Seduan Jaya in Sibu was severely affected by flood after heavy rain poured the area for several days, forcing 46 people from 5 families, including a 10-month-old baby, to evacuate to the center for safety measure. Recent reports found that 3 victims were rushed to the hospital as they are suffering from fever, cough, and nausea, causing them to vomit.
5 students and 2 teachers went through a harrowing experience as a Tahfiz center that they were in got caught on fire. The fire erupted in the common area of Raud Haful Hidayah Tahfiz Academy in Rantau, Panjang Sibu on Thursday. According to Sungai Merah Fire and Rescue Chief, rescuers received the distress call at 12:13 noon and rescue personnel were dispatched immediately.
Setibanya di tempat kejadian pada jam 12.21, Komander Operasi melaporkan kebakaran berlaku di ruang tamu berukuran 15 kali 15 kaki persegi di tingkat bawah sebuah rumah 2 tingkat struktur jenis kekal yang dijadikan sebagai pusat tahfiz. Operasi pemadaman dilakukan dengan menggunakan 1 aliran salur bantu mula dan kebakaran berjaya dikawal pada jam 12.45. Kebakaran menyebabkan 1 unit pengawal dingin serta menyebabkan bahan bacaan dan peratusan kebakaran adalah 20%. Semasa kebakaran berlaku, 2 ustazah bersama 5 pelajar yang berada di tingkat atas telah berjaya menyelamatkan diri.
Mutalef reported that no injuries and death was caused by the fire. A total of 9 firefighters led by PBK2 Rorudi Umas and 2 Sarawak Energy personnel were involved in the rescue operation, which ended at 1 p.m. The cause of the fire is still being investigated.
Minggu ini, TVS membawakan kepada anda sebuah filem dari Sabah.
Kau takut nak aku give up fight?
Menandong tu. Kena ngokok? Kena ngokok?
Dia seorang pejuang yang berani. Dia juga seorang yang tidak gentar untuk mengubah adat istiadat kaumnya.
Awas ni! Betulan ke jatuh lebihnya?
Namun, ramai yang masih percaya bahawa dia adalah seorang pemburu kepala pengait. Adakah dia benar-benar seorang perwira? Dan dapatkah dia membuktikannya? Jangan lupa untuk menonton Avakas Sabtu 9 malam hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
Ngapa takon ku, komposison ku.
Dalam episod akan datang, Empresses in the Palace.
手工来作践本宫。额娘抱你去玩好不好？
我不要，我不要。
啊，镯子丢了，情丢不得。碎轩里晾好了皇上爱喝的茶，皇上去喝吗？
你都这么说了，朕能不去吗？
Jangan lupa Empresses in the Palace. Isnin hingga Khamis 9.30 malam di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
熹妃，你还是好好的安胎吧。臣妾恭送皇后娘娘。
Welcome back. Sarawak recorded 13 new COVID-19 cases on Friday, with all under Categories 1 and Category 2. Sarawak Disaster Management Committee SDMC, through a statement, said with the 13 new cases, the total number of cases in Sarawak increased to 252,581 cases.
Miri and Cebu recorded the highest daily cases at 4, followed by Bintulu 2 cases and 1 case each in Limbang, Maradong and Beluru. Other district has not recorded any new cases. Meanwhile, no cases of deaths and cluster were reported on Friday.
Nearly 9 million COVID-19 vaccine booster shots have been administered in the country as of 11:59 p.m. yesterday. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin expects the number to surpass 10 million next week as the government is gearing up its effort to encourage more people to take the booster vaccine.
Citing Sarawak as an example, Khairi said the state recorded daily cases exceeding 3,000 before it started its booster program in October. Adding further, he said the daily cases are now down to double-digit cases, with every indicator falling by more than 90% since September. Last week, Khairi said 4 mega COVID-19 vaccination centers PPVs in the Klang Valley will begin to operate tomorrow to offer booster shots in a bid to increase the take-up rate for the third dose.
Now on to the next development. The Early Schooling Assistance BAP of 150 ringgit for the 2022-2023 school session will be distributed from Monday, January 17. In line with the 2022 budget, the assistance is expected to benefit 3 million eligible students.
The Ministry of Education (MOE) said Standard 1 to Form 4 students with a monthly household income of 3,000 ringgit and below who are attending the 2021-2022 school session are eligible to receive the assistance. For Standard 1 students who will start schooling on March 21st, the BAP will be given after the registration process is completed. Furthermore, MOE said the BAP will be distributed via cash or credited to bank accounts for students who have bank accounts. For cash distribution, it will be implemented in schools according to the standard operating procedures set by the National Security Council and the Ministry of Health.
Now, the fully electric bus service will kick off in Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya and other major cities before expanding its services nationwide. This is in line with the government's effort to make Malaysia a carbon-neutral nation by 2050.
Jadi untuk mencapai sasaran kajian itu, semua pihak perlu terlibat. Ya. Dan hari ini saya melawat kilang yang mengeluarkan bas elektrik. Ya, ini juga salah satu usaha kita untuk mencapai kepada net zero carbon emission ataupun negara neutral carbon pada tahun 2050.
The Prime Minister said he was made to understand that the Kuala Lumpur City Hall DBKL has booked 60 electric buses from SKS Bus Group, which would be acquired in stages starting this year until 2023.
Dan saya harap syarikat-syarikat bas yang lain lah selain daripada DBKL yang memberikan perkhidmatan bas percuma ni, syarikat-syarikat pengendali bas seperti Pasarana dan sebagainya, bagi saya perlu terlibat sama di dalam membantu kajian untuk mencapai sasaran negara net zero carbon emission pada tahun 2050.
Since 2019, SKS Bus Group has been collaborating in the technical field with the CCRC Group of China, the world's largest electric locomotives, and rolling stock manufacturer to build fully electric buses. SKS Bus fully electric buses are able to travel up to 250 kilometers with a single charge.
Malaysia, Indonesia and the Philippines will meet on January 27 to discuss measures to strengthen the Trilateral Cooperative Arrangement or TCA on the security in the Sulusi, Sulawesi and Sabah's East Coast. It will be the focus of the meeting between the defense ministers.
Senior Defence Minister Datuk Seri HISHAMMUDDIN Tun Hussein expressed his desire to strengthen cooperation between the three countries' armed forces through the TCA to his counterparts in Indonesia and the Philippines.
Perkara kedua yang saya nak umumkan hari ini bahawa kita tak boleh berdepan dengan ancaman ini secara keseorangan. Dan sebab itu kita perlu kerjasama rapat dengan negara-negara jiran.
Meanwhile, he added that the construction of a new military camp in Felda Sahabat Lahad Datuk involves an allocation of 646.45 million ringgit and will begin this year. The construction of the camp is one of the initiatives to further strengthen security and defense on the east coast of Sabah. Adding to that, HISHAMMUDDIN said the development of this new camp will relocate an infantry battalion and 13 brigade units in an effort to increase the level of capability and readiness of the army in dealing with current threats. 8 battalions were currently guarding Sabah's east coast, where 4 battalions are operational and another 4 are on standby to deal with possible threats. Besides that, he also stated that throughout last year, the security operations at the east coast of Sabah have been running smoothly and various threats were successfully dealt with. These includes kidnapping for ransom, piracy, smuggling, entry of illegal immigrants and militants.
Yang menarik perhatian saya ialah tiada rekod penculikan baru direkodkan di kawasan ACCOM sepanjang tahun 2021.
Yang kami faham pakai mask.
Jarak mesti at least 1 meter.
Wash hand frequently. Tak mestilah pakai facial mask.
Penjarakan sosial.
First of all, macam kita masuk mall kan, sini-sini kedai mesti scan.
Sentiasalah jaga doktor.
Kita jaga kita.
Kita jaga kita.
Kita jaga kita.
Kita jaga kita.
Dalam episod seterusnya, My Husband-in-Law.
คุณยาดาแล้วเนี่ยผมเต็มที่เสมอครับนี่ครับวิธีที่ผมแนะนำในการฟ้องหย่ากับสามีของคุณ
ดึกก็ได้เลยนะคะ
ฉันก็ทำดึกเหมือนกันนะ
Jangan lupa untuk menyaksikan My Husband-in-Law setiap Isnin hingga Khamis 8.45 malam di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
พี่เทนเป็นบ้าอะไรเนี่ยหรือว่าจะมาพิศวาสอะไรเราตอนนี้เนี่ยฮะ
Amalan menderma darah mampu memupuk nilai murni dan tanggungjawab dalam diri sendiri serta masyarakat. Dengan menderma darah, ia memberikan sinar kepada mereka yang memerlukan. Berikan sokongan anda. Jadilah penderma darah.
Thank you for staying with me. Now, Europe is closer to war than it has been in the past 30 years. Those remarks were made by Polish Foreign Minister Zbigniew Rau on Thursday, January 13, at the launch of his country's year-long chairmanship of the region's largest security organization.
That the risk of war in the OSCE area is now greater than ever before in the last 30 years. In this vein, we should focus on a peaceful resolution of the conflict in and around Ukraine, in compliance with the Minsk agreements and in full respect of the sovereignty, territorial integrity and unity of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders.
Without naming Russia in his address to envoys from the 57 members of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, Rau mentioned tensions in Ukraine, Georgia, Armenia, and Moldova, all countries with active or frozen conflicts in which Russia has been alleged to be a party.
The latest developments in Kazakhstan gave us serious reasons for concerns.
Moving on, Queen Elizabeth's second son, Prince Andrew, was effectively stripped of his position in royal life as he faces a U.S. civil case for sexual assault. As such, he would no longer use his Royal Highness title, which designates senior members of the royal family in any capacity.
The move came after Buckingham Palace announced that he had given up his honorary military titles and charitable roles as the U.S. case looms. A New York judge on Wednesday dismissed an attempt by Andrew's lawyers to have the case brought by Virginia Giuffre thrown out. Giuffre, 38, accuses Andrew, often called the Queen's favorite son, of sexually assaulting her in 2001 when she was 17, claiming she was delivered to him by Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew, who strenuously denies the allegation, was forced to quit public life after a calamitous 2019 interview in which he claimed to have no memory of meeting Giuffre and defended his friendship with convicted pedophile Epstein, who was found hanged in prison in 2019. Public outrage at the time saw several charities and associations distance themselves from him, and he has rarely been seen in public ever since.
Now wrapping up the Nightline, Zara Rutherford expected to become the first young woman to fly across the world when she returns to Belgium on Monday, January 17. In the Western Belgium airport, Rutherford embarks on her 51,000-kilometer journey as she passes through 5 continents and 52 countries around the globe, including the United States, Greenland, Russia, and Colombia.
Rutherford designates 2 points opposite each other on the globe to meet the criteria for a round-the-world flight. One is in Jambi, Indonesia, and another one in the Colombian town in Tumaco. Upon finishing her journey, the 19-year-old is set to have her name in the record book. Currently holding the title is Shaista Wise, who flew across the globe at the age of 30 back in 2017. Besides that, Rutherford wishes that her journey could encourage more women and young girls to study STEM and aviation.
It's a dream I've had my entire life, to fly in a plane around the world. It's just this crazy idea. I always thought it would be impossible. But then I decided, if I don't tell anyone about it, then it's never going to happen. So I told my parents, and straight away they were like, yes, let's do this. And with the media attention now that I've been getting, I'm hoping to encourage girls and women to hopefully also go into aviation and STEM, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Aside from entering the record book, the teenager expressed hope that her voyage will encourage girls and women to study and work in STEM and spark girls' interest in aviation.
So growing up, I didn't really see many female pilots or female computer scientists. Those are 2 of my passions, and it's quite discouraging when there's no one that can relate to you that does any of those things. So then I wanted to fly around the world, hopefully have other girls see me and think I'd love to fly one day too.
Born to parents who are both pilots, Rutherford will start university this year with the dream of becoming an astronaut.
And that concludes TVS Nightline for tonight. Once again, I'm Hari Zainuddin. Thank you for tuning in, and it's been a pleasure.